Mumbai votes to elect its representatives for India's richest civic body. The BMC elections 2017 witnesses the best in the decade voter turnout of over 52%.
मैं 92 की हूँ। कितने देर हो गए वोट करते बच्चे बोलते हैं जरूर करना चाहिए।
Senior citizens turn out in huge numbers, demand pothole-free roads, better governance and safety in the Mumbai elections. Celebrities and politicians have been seen flocking to BMC polling stations. Now all eyes are on the 23rd of February when counting takes place. Hello and welcome. You are watching Maha Mandate 2017. I am Krishna Kumar and we are continuing with our non-stop Mumbai civic body BMC's election coverage. Voting on 227 seats has ended. The final voter turnout is at over 52%, 52.17% to be precise. Next step, counting will get underway on Thursday, that is the 23rd of February. Stakes are at an all-time high. And some political reactions have been coming in through the day as well. Let's listen in.
आज 10 महानगर पालिकाओं में और 10 जिला पंचायतों में चुनाव चल रहे हैं। मैं तमाम जनता को ये निवेदन करता हूं कि लोकतंत्र में वोटिंग ये आपका अधिकार है और इस अधिकार का उपयोग सभी ने करना चाहिए। इसको कर्तव्य मानकर करना चाहिए। हम लोकतंत्र की प्रक्रिया में अगर अपना मत अभिव्यक्त नहीं करेंगे तो ये प्रक्रिया कभी सुदृढ़ नहीं हो सकती। इसलिए मैं अपील करता हूं कि सारे लोग यहां पर जरूर अपने अपने वोटिंग बूथ पर जाएं और वोटिंग करें।
देखिए, सिर्फ मनपा का चुनाव नहीं है, सिर्फ मुंबई म्युनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशन का चुनाव नहीं है। मुंबई का चुनाव बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। मुंबई देश की आर्थिक महाराष्ट्र की राजधानी है, कैपिटल है, लेकिन चुनाव पूरे महाराष्ट्र में चल रहा है, जिसे मिनी विधानसभा हम कहेंगे। जिला परिषद है, पंचायत है, 10 महानगर पालिका है, पुणे, नासिक, नागपुर, अमरावती, सभी, अकोला। तो ये चुनावी मुद्दे हैं जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के साथ अब हमारा रिश्ता नहीं रहा है।
It's a good sign. People are coming up. They are already queuing up. Hopefully, they will give a new government in the corporation.
So I'm happy people have come. They are voting. Their number is good.
Do you see more and more of the younger generation coming out and voting?
No, as usual.
It's as usual. There is no difference.
People from all age, people from all regions, they are coming and voting. It's a good thing. It's an improvement in people.
And now that the voting has ended, we are going to understand what that over 52%, the best in decade voter turnout has been and who is possibly emerging victorious. And to understand that, I have with me Mr. Bhaskar Prabhu, RTI activist, and Clyde Crasto, spokesperson of the NCP. Clyde and Bhaskar, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on this very important day. I'm going to start with Bhaskar because you're an RTI activist. I'm going to talk to you as a citizen of Mumbai. 52.17 voter turnout, the highest in a decade. In fact, if you remember today, in the morning till about the first half, the voter turnout percentage was dismal. Somehow it picked up during the second half of the day, didn't it? Are you looking at a very strong public opinion on what they want for Mumbai?
Actually, this election is a cadre-based election. Like everybody has got a chance to vote. Every political party's leadership or followers, they have got a chance to vote because there is no compromise in seat sharing. Everybody has a chance to vote. One is that is one also the reason for a voting pattern to be increased. The other is that if you see the from 45% to 52%, we have to actually need to see what was the real voting additionals that have been done in real sense. Like population has also increased, all these things have also increased. We need to see that. But whatever it is there, from 45% to 52%, is quite better. That means थोड़ा सा हम आगे बढ़ गए और भी बढ़ना बहुत है. So if you see northeastern states, they are 60, 70, 80, 83%, and we are all literate, and I believe we need to be educated to go increase our voting pattern more. Does that mean that ki 48% of the population are happy with the municipal services? Do we take that as a message? I feel that ki Mumbai population still needs to participate in voting pattern.
Absolutely.
That needs to be a sustainable participation. I'm unfortunate to tell, being born and brought up in Mumbai, we are not sustainable participators. We are event participators. Like something happens, we are ready to go to Gateway of India and put one candle light, and that's our participation. That also in the 6:30 when you complete the job. So I feel that, of course, we can say yes, little better off
Exactly.
from last time.
Bhaskar Prabhu, I was exactly going to arrive at that. We are celebrating this number called 52%, but that number has got nothing to be enough to be celebrated about. 52% for a city like Mumbai, with so many educated people who always talk about what all they want to see improve, and only 50% of them actually turn out to vote. So let's our celebrations and jubilation of this number needs to be a little tempered. That's the point that Bhaskar is making, and Bhaskar, that point is very well taken. At this point, I'm going to take this to Clyde, and before that, also I have some information that's coming in. Bhaskar, probably this will throw light on what you're discussing. The Election Commission has said that the social media has spurred voter turnout this time around. That's a very interesting point. Clyde, before I come to you about NCP's chances in these elections, I want to get your take on this as well. Social media spurring voter turnout?
How do you mean to say that ki all social media has to be clapped just for a 7% increase? I feel that if it was around, say, 60-65%, I would say then there's definitely there can be some pat to be given on
probably
the
they were
social
referring
media.
to the improvement in the voter turnout towards the afternoon as compared to the mornings. Clyde,
Krishna, I'm going to take this very positively.
Okay.
Being from a political party and being a spokesperson of NCP, it's always, people look at you a little differently. But I'm going to look at this very positive because, 7.5% increase in the voting is always a good sign. That means people want change, people want to progress. And when there's a change and people come out to vote, that means, there is something that is going against the incumbent government. People are not happy, they want change, they want better. So I'm not disputing what Mr. Bhaskar is saying, it's just that I'm looking at it more positively. Today it's 7%, probably next election it could be 14 or 20%. So we are looking at things in the right direction. Also 52% voting that has happened, yes, population has increased, but what they are calculating is 52% of the current voting population or current population of Mumbai city. So somewhere there is going to be a change, there is a positive sign, and I think we have to be a little optimistic about this whole issue. Let's look it forward and let's take it forward now.
All right, even as you say that, I have to tell you, I'm sure you've heard it as well, so many families and entire families who have gone to polling stations and not found their names over there. Yeah. There is still a lot of work to be done in terms of including every Mumbaikar in that voters list. I personally know so many Mumbaikars who went, who wanted to vote, who took a day off from work and couldn't vote because simply because there were 3 different polling stations.
That's a lot to do with the way the government administration also is working. The Election Commission, the way they're working, they need to get their act together. They need to, look at things more detailed and more precise so that, it's somewhere the people who went out to vote are the actual people who are interested in the city, who want better for themselves and for the others. So I think it's also the administration, the Election Commission, the government needs to look into this, very seriously and try to make the change that possible.
All right, Clyde, just to elaborate the point I was trying to make to you, several citizens across Mumbai today, residents of entire housing societies didn't find their names in the voters list. My colleague Disha Shah actually caught up with one such group in Vikhroli area in Mumbai. Take a look at this.
The big day is here and Mumbai votes for the richest civic body BMC elections. But as responsible voters, many Mumbai citizens, they came here to vote only to find no names if they are in the voter list. Of course, I'm in the Vikhroli area here where almost 4,000 voters did not have their names in the voter list. I'm joined here by almost 50 voters here, residents here staying in this particular ward. Sir, आप बताइए, आप यहाँ पे कितने बजे आए और आपको कब पता चला कि आपका नाम नहीं है वोटर लिस्ट
सवेरे मैं यहाँ पे 9 बजे आया और 9 बजे के बाद हम लोग पूरा लिस्ट चेक कर रहे हैं, लेकिन उसमें मेरा कहाँ पे नाम नहीं है। गए 25 साल से हम लोग यहाँ पे वोटिंग कर रहे हैं। लास्ट 2014 में भी हम लोग वोटिंग किया है विधानसभा के लिए, लेकिन अब भी अपना रिसेंटली मेरा लिस्ट में मेरा मिसेस का मेरा नाम इसमें लिस्ट में है नहीं।
मैं, मेरी मम्मी और मेरे सिस्टर हम लोग 3 बजे यहाँ आए। हम लोग हर साल हर वक्त वोटिंग को आते हैं। हमने लोकसभा में भी वोटिंग किया था, विधानसभा में भी किया था, तभी हमारा सबका नाम था। मैंने वहाँ पे लिस्ट में देखा तो नाम नहीं, यहाँ देखा ऑफिसर को मिलने की कोशिश की तो हमें मिलने के लिए कोई भी ऑफिसर नहीं आया। तभी मुझे बाकी के भाई बहनों ने बताया कि भाई साहब हम वोट करना चाहते हैं, वोटिंग करना चाहते हैं, हम अपना हक को निभाना चाहते हैं, लेकिन यहाँ से करीबन 1400-1500 लोगों का नाम नहीं है। मैं कहता हूँ एक पूरी बिल्डिंग की बिल्डिंग गायब है।
वोटिंग में हमारा पहला घर आता है, उसके बाद हमारे बाजू वालों का घर आता है। बाजू वालों का नंबर है, उनका वोटिंग है, लेकिन हमारा घर माइनस किया है, हमारा वोटिंग नहीं है। तो मुझे वोटिंग करना है, मेरे पास आईडी प्रूफ है, मुझे कुछ भी करके मैं रुकने वाली हूँ, मुझे वोटिंग करना ही है।
मुझे भी वोटिंग करना है। हाँ, मुझे चांस दीजिए, मैं वोटिंग
यहाँ पे जो ऑफिसर्स जो बैठे हैं वो अभी क्या रिस्पॉन्ड कर रहे हैं?
नहीं मिलते हो।
मैडम यहाँ पे ऐसे सिचुएशन है, कंदमौर नगर, टॉगोर नगर, ये वार्ड क्रमांक 118 है। यहाँ पे कंदमौर पे 5 बूथ है और टॉगोर नगर पे 2 बूथ है। मैं आज सुबह से लेके कंदमौर और टॉगोर नगर के हर एक बूथ में जाके आया, वहाँ पे यही सिचुएशन है। यहाँ पे अपना जो मोबाइल ऐप है 5 जनवरी में जो प्रसिद्ध किया था इलेक्शन कमिश्नर ने, उसमें नाम है वोटर का, लेकिन अंदर जाने के बाद जहाँ पे हमारे पोलिंग एजेंट जो बूथ में बैठे हैं वहाँ पे भी वो लिस्ट में नाम है, लेकिन जो बूथ के अंदर जो मेन आदमी बैठता है उनके पास जो इलेक्शन कमिश्नर की जो लिस्ट है उसके ऊपर नाम नहीं है करके इनको वोट करने को नहीं दे रहे।
हमने प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर से भी कांटेक्ट करने की कोशिश की, जोनल ऑफिसर से भी कांटेक्ट करने की कोशिश की। सब लोग ये जगह पे मौजूद है, लेकिन कोई बाहर आके हमसे डिबेट नहीं कर रहा है।
मैं 50 साल से इधर रहती है, बिल्डिंग में 26 में हमारा ये टाइम में नाम नहीं, मेरा औरत का नाम नहीं है। ये कैसा हो गया मालूम नहीं, क्या किया वो। हम सोचता है, बहुत सोचता है इसके बारे में, क्या कैसा लिस्ट बनाया, कौन बनाया लिस्ट पता नहीं है वो।
So from all sections, right from senior citizens to even youth for that matter, they do not have their names in the voter list, and they say that this is the first time that they have faced this unique problem, and they had come here to vote, but they do not have their names, so they are going back, and none of the cooperators, none of the officers sitting in the ward, they are really cooperating with them, so they really demand that they really demand a reply from the state election and also from the ward officers as to why this thing happened.
All right, Clyde, I'm going to get a quick word in from you on what we just saw. You know, it's not just that particular housing society. There are housing societies in Dadar area, in Juhu area, who also entire housing societies who've not found their names in the voters list. Quick commentary, so before we move on to analyze these elections.
You know, like I said earlier, you know, it's the administration. They've been lacking somewhere. If there are names that are missing. You know, it's not happened for the first time. It's happened earlier also. So if this has happened, they should take cognizance of this whole thing and make sure the names appear in the next elections. Now, having said that, what happens is once these issues come up, there are officials who are actually, you know, participating in this whole election process. They are teachers from municipal schools. They are government officials. You know what? As individuals, because I'm a citizen also, I'm a voter also. What I've also found is the lack of knowledge, the lack of education to these officials. You know, they are not well educated about the process. Now, if you go and complain to somebody that, you know, my name is not there, sometimes they just say, "Mujhe pata nahi, aap unse puchiye, aap unse puchiye." They, you know, the citizens are made to go from pillar to post. So the most important thing, the next step after an issue like this comes up is to, you know, educate the officials to actually explain to people and help them out as to what is the next step to do. So I think the administration needs to look into this very seriously right now.
Absolutely, and I'm sure Bhaskar Prabhu will agree with it 120% in terms of, you know, it's the citizens' right to vote, and that being taken away is no laughing matter. It's not light at all, and that to the most richest civic body in the country. And we also have, gentlemen, another important guest joining us, and that is a candidate and also dubbed one of the wealthiest candidates in this elections, BJP candidate. We're talking about Mr. Parag Shah, who joins us live on the show. Mr. Parag Shah, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here in our special election day coverage right here on Magic Bricks. Now, I want to ask you, how has this particular election been for you, and how confident of you are you of winning?
See, this time the voting in the Ghatko.
All right, we seem to be having a bit of a technical difficulty connecting to Paraksha. We will be getting back in touch with him. But for now, I'm going to take this to Bhaskar Prabhu. Bhaskar Prabhu, so many issues that came up simply because what Mumbai has seen over the last year or two, pothole roads, pollution, I can go on and on, women's safety, things where we've seen dire consequences happen in this city. How do you see this election shaping up once the results come out? We're about 48 hours away from it. How do you see this election shaping up in terms of the outcome for Maximum City?
Basically, the election will shape out who will come to power.
Yes.
It will not come to power what solution has to come out. I feel these citizens' participation in following up their issues is much more important than just going to the electoral representatives and telling them the problem, because electoral representatives know what is the problem. The other issue is about the voters whose names were not there. Basically, the problem happens because the municipal corporation bifurcate as per to their voters' constituency, and at that time these some goofing up has happened. Otherwise, it will not happen. But this problem was there when I went to vote. There were some senior citizens whose names were not there, but they were voting for a long time in those areas.
Also, Bhaskar Prabhu, who this time around we have 117 independent candidates. The question I'm asking you is that, do you think there's been a sense of disenchantment from the public when it comes to who's running their city?
Yes, definitely there is disenchantment because otherwise the 117. The other thing is that people are now coming out to contest independently also. That is also a good sign, because civic issues, it is much better that they are independents contest more, and at least that now there are 117. We could consider it to be a shadow corporators for where they have considered. The matter is there in Great Britain. If you see, there is one elected corporate councillor and one is the shadow councillor who follows up or who is always on a shadow of the elected representative. And this pattern needs to also be followed in Mumbai, so that all 227 corporators who are there are 227 shadow corporators in Mumbai, so that they will be able to follow up the work done by the corporators themselves, those elected corporators. And the second is that I still feel that Mumbai citizen is not a sustainable participant.
That's the first point you made, Bhaskar Prabhu. This 52% voter turnout number is nothing to be jubilant about. Yes, it's an increase, and as Clyde puts it, it's good to look at it positively, but there's a long way to go when it comes to an average Mumbaikar participating sustainable. And now we have Parag Shah, the BJP candidate in this BMC election 2017, joining us live again. Mr. Parag Shah, I want to understand, how confident are you of winning 52% voter turnout this time around?
We are always saying Ghatkopar is the BJP, and this time the way the voting is more higher, we are surely that there will be a winning margin will be slightly more further. The winning is sure, but what percentage, that will increase now.
Mr. Parag Shah, I was just talking to Mr. Bhaskar Prabhu, who's an RTA activist who is with us in the studios. This time around there are 117 independent candidates who are in the fray in this particular elections, which is pointing to the sense that the people of Mumbai, have been not very happy with the way the city has been run all these years. And probably the reason why there are so many independent candidates this time around, probably the reason why you have the best voter turnout in the last 3 decades.
I do not know much about the independent candidates, but yes, in my case, being a new player in the game and looking at the track record, I believe that the Ghatkopar people are more happy with me, and there will be a higher winning margin.
और ये भी बता सकते हैं कि काउंटिंग डे के बाद 23rd के बाद what will happen in case there's a split vote, if there's going to be not enough majority, will BJP join hands with anybody at all?
I'm too junior to answer that, but I believe that the BJP may get a much majority also. Definitely the BJP should get at least 85-90 seats in Mumbai.
Also, Mr. Paraksha, Mr. Praveen Chedda is a very strong contender, so I want to understand in terms of the competition you have, how do you, measure yourself against that?
No, it was a hard game definitely because he was having 6 months time when he was preparing since last 5-6 months and I was having hardly 15 days. So it was very hard work to convince people and to give a right message to the people. But I believe that I'm successful.
All right, one last thing. Will demonetization work against you? Because Ghatkopar is a business hub at the end of the day. A lot of smaller businessmen, traders would have had to face the brunt of demonetization.
No, I don't think so. The demonetizing is definitely a good thing for a country. And people have started realizing this. First 2 months were difficult. But now people are realizing, and I believe that more or less the life has become regular for everyone now.
All right, hold on. Let me bring in Clyde Crasto into this now. Clyde, talk to us now as the politician that you are and speaking as a representative of the NCP. We have a BJP candidate, Mr. Paraksha, who is extremely confident that Ghatkopar will belong to the BJP. Where will NCP, so to say, plant its flag?
Well, we have a corporator who's also from Ghatkopar, Pantnagar area.
Okay.
So it's a mixed bag there. Okay, I mean, Mr. Paraksha is being very optimistic, and all the best to him. In 42 hours, we'll know who has won. But yeah, like I said, it's a mixed bag. Praveen Chedda from the Congress, we have Rakhi Jadhav from my party NCP, and there are other BJP corporators there. So yes, I mean in the assembly election it may be BJP and but when it comes to the corporation election, you have to understand it's also got to do with a lot of individual, how the individual is serving the society, how is serving the ward. So I think to draw parallels to both will be a little difficult. But having said that, I think it could be anybody's kind of seat, because the higher voter percentage is going to show a different picture on 23rd.
Exactly what I was going to ask you, Clyde. Quick word in from you. 20 seconds. Tell us, will the high voter turnout be an advantage to you or the BJP?
No, it definitely will be an advantage to us, because see, when it's in psephology or in political circles, you have to understand that when there's a higher percentage of vote, people coming out to vote is always against the incumbent government.
Right.
So it's anti-incumbency, and since the Shiv Sena and the BJP both are together, they cannot distance away from each other. Both were there in the corporation for the last 22 years.
Right.
I think it's a vote and a mandate against them.
All right, Mr. Paraksha, same question to you. I want to ask you, this time around, over 52% voter turnout, the highest in a decade. Do you think that is an advantage to you, the BJP?
I think yes, because now the people are awake now. Because of this transparency issue, the people are more comfortable definitely with BJP, and especially whichever the areas mainly belongs to the BJP, I don't think they will be able to break any seats.
All right, so both the NCP and the BJP are extremely confident that the high vote turnout will be there to their advantage. And on that note, I'm going to get the final word in from Mr. Bhaskar Prabhu, the RTI activist who's with us. Mr. Bhaskar Prabhu, in fact, an NGO suggested that to give a tax rebate to those who come out to vote. I want to quickly check with you. Do you think a move like that will work in Mumbai for a 60 to 70 to 80% voter turnout in the next elections?
I think it should. The more the political parties think about these matters, then the voter turnouts will be more, and the non-governmental organizations also need to do some efforts. And it's basically the chief election officer or the state election commission needs to do much more efforts that the people come out. It's just not 15 days before. Now, say for example, they need to start from tomorrow.
For the next election.
For the next election.
Absolutely. Clyde, you had a point?
If that is done, I think 60-65% voting is not at all a far game.
All right, 60-65% is not a far game. Clyde, quickly, last word for you.
I want to tell you that every Mumbaikar should take it upon themselves as a moral duty to come out and vote. they should look at it as something that they need to exercise for their own self, for a better future, for a brighter future. So I think a moral responsibility by every Mumbaikar should be taken, and they should come out and vote, and that's how the voting percentage will increase in the future.
Absolutely. The moral responsibility lies with the Mumbaikar at the end of the day. Clyde, thank you so much for making that point right at the end of the show. So which means that here's to all Mumbaikars watching this next time around. Let's hope that the voter turnout number is at least 60 to 65%. Go out there and vote if you haven't this time around. And with that, it's a wrap here on this show. Thank you so much, Bhaskar Prabhu, Clyde Crasto, and Parag Shah, all three of you gentlemen, for taking time out to be with us here on this Maha Mandate 2017. Thank you so much. And with that, we need to wrap things up here on the show. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at magicbricksnow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.